Welcome back to another episode of War in Cali. In this episode, I'm going to talk about San Francisco's Mission District. The Mission District is one of the oldest neighborhoods in San Francisco. The Mission District name came from Mission San Francisco, built in 1776 by the Spanish. Mission is historically one of the most notable centers of Bay Area's Chicano and Hispanic communities, with its shops, stores, murals representing the culture, and events like parades and car shows. During the 1940s to 1960s, a large number of Mexican immigrants moved into the Mission area, being displaced from an earlier Mexican settlement located on Recon Hill. A lot of Mexicans moving in the area at the time, this helped initiate white flight in the Mission, giving the Mission a heavily Chicano, Latino character, for which it continues to be known for today. Starting in the 1960s, many Central American immigrants started to contribute to the Mission's population and its culture, bringing several different cultures to the area. But in the following years, the Mission District will start to see a lot of crime. The Mission District will later become a stronghold of many different gangs and cliques, mostly Nortes and Surenos, and this will be a deep, deadly war. Now, if you don't know what Nortes or Norteños are, they're a gang that's prominent in Northern California streets. They represent with the color red and use the number 14 because N is the 14th letter in the alphabet. Nortes are all over Northern California and have many different sets and many different cliques in almost every city in Northern California. This gang has ties to the prison gang, Nortes Familia. Now, the arrival of Surenos. The Surenos are known for being a gang based out of Southern California, but have branched out to many Northern California cities. The Surenos have allegiance to prison gang, the Mexican Mafia, which the Surenos used the number 13 to show the allegiance to the Mexican Mafia, which M being the 13th letter in the alphabet. The rivalry between the Nortes Familia and the Mexican Mafia runs deep, being an over a 40-year rivalry, so this carried to the streets whenever Surenos and Nortes are in contact. Surenos or Nortes are based in different regions, so you would think they would never run into each other. But since Surenos started cliques in Northern California cities, it's been bloodshed, and the Mission streets would be no different, with both gangs holding the presence there. I'm going to take you back a little bit and bring you up to date with some things in this beef and some events that happened. In October 1990, the war between both gangs and their several cliques was in full-fledged, being several cliques of Surenos and Nortes in the Mission District by this time. Bouncer, who was a Sureno, called Max a Norte and stabbed his ass up, but Max survived. Max must have had 9 lives because he drove his car on Van Ness Avenue to get some gas at a gas station, where Bouncer just happened to be inside. Bouncer saw Max and just started firing at him, shooting him straight in the face. Once again, Max's ass survived, but he got his get back a little later. Max's ass must have got tired of being a victim and became a victimizer, because he was charged with killing a Sureno named Spider. Max would later beat his case, but Bouncer didn't. Bouncer was charged with shooting and stabbing Max, but with him only being 16 at the time, Bouncer only did 3 years and got out by 1993. But that same year, Bouncer and his crew of Surenos were involved in 3 shootings in one night, shooting at several Nortes, hitting several people. That landed him back in jail. In June of 1993, Frosty, who was a Norte, was stabbed to death in front of Mission High School by a Sureno named Jose. Jose received manslaughter and only did 3 years for the crime. In 1996, the same year as Jose was released, he was at a bar called El Toro, and he was shot and killed by 2 people. Just off this, you can see the Mission was no joke, and was a back and forth thing for years with bodies dropping on both sides, and that would never end. On June 16th, 2003, around 2 a.m., Wilfred, Marie, Harold, and Mark were hanging out at the BART station around 24th and Mission, getting high like clucks off that PCP. Next thing you knew, a blue Lincoln pulled up, and somebody yelled out, "Where y'all from?" Then 4 to 6 shots followed, and this left Mark paralyzed. That same blue Lincoln was spotted later at a 7-Eleven. Now it was 3 people in that blue Lincoln. It was Mike, who was a known Sureno, his homie, and Mike's girlfriend Angelique. Now Angelique was a known cum bucket. Her man Mike was a known Sureno, but her man just before him was a known Norte named Marcos. Now Angelique was a dope fiend. She was probably on the side of the gang who had the best rocks at the time. But anyway, at the store, Angelique seen her ex Marco's friend Alfred. Alfred started tripping on her, basically asking her why was she with the dudes that she was with, and he started dissing Surenos. On the outside of the store, Alfred would run into Mike, which Mike questioned where was he from. Alfred banged back and said this is Norte. Mike then shot Alfred, taking his life. Now Angelique was picked up because the car was in her name. She told everything and wasn't charged for nothing. She told the police about both shootings and how Mike did the shooting on his own. Her high must have wore off, and she thought about never smoking rocks again as she went to jail. Mike ended up receiving a life sentence for the shootings. On June 26, 2004, Luis was a known Sureno. He was walking with his 6-year-old son Rafael on 24th Street in Nortes turf. Luis was just taking his son to the store. Marco, who was a Norte, spotted Luis and ran down on him. Rafael later said his dad noticed Marcos and let go of his hand. Marcos then shot Luis in front of his son, taking his life. Rafael ran home crying and told his mom a man killed his dad. Several witnesses seen the shooting and even seen Marcos through his strap. He was later arrested. Marcos said he did the shooting because he had prior run-ins with Luis and none was good. Marcos said he was at a party in May when he was shot at by several Surenos, including Luis. Then weeks prior to the shooting, he said Luis and other Surenos threatened him and pulled out a strap. When he seen him on June 26, he was scared and shot out of fear, he said. Over 3 witnesses would testify against Marcos, and he was sentenced to 15 years to life. Over the years, Mission stayed high in crime, and in 2008 only, it was 19 killings in the area between the gangs, and that's only the Mission area. A man named Edwin was part of the MS-13 clique in the Mission area. In 2006, former MS-13 turned informant Jamie told the FBI that Edwin killed a Norte named Chino in the Mission district, but Edwin was never charged because of the lack of evidence. On June 22, 2008, Tony and his 2 sons Michael and Matthew were shot and killed. This will later become a big case. Edwin was picked up for the shootings just 3 days later. Edwin's friend was shot hours earlier before the shooting, and he was out looking for revenge against the Nortes, and he thought Tony and his sons were Nortes. Edwin ended up being sentenced to 183 years to life. Following this, on October 22, 2008, 300 law enforcement officers used armored trucks and 16 SWAT teams raided the homes of those affiliated with the MS-13 gang in the Mission District. 42 gang members were apprehended, bringing a 4-year-long undercover operation to a conclusion. It would take many gang members off the streets and prevent a lot of crime. From 2009 to 2013, it was 31 murders in the Mission District alone. The numbers dipped with police having sweeps and indictments on both sides and gentrification, and pushing many families out the Mission. In 2011, February 26, a Sureno gang member is confronted by 4 Nortes and is stabbed 9 times. The same day, a Sureno named Otto was shot and killed. February 27, a man who just moved from San Leandro was stopped just by sitting in his car. 5 days later, on March 2nd, a Norte was shot in his turf. August of 2011, 6 MS-13 members including Shorty, Spooky, and Juan were charged with 3 murders on people that they expected to be Nortes. By 2011, the population of Latinos in the area dropped 20% to around 60%. From 2006 to 2013, 10 Surenos out the Mission District were dropping bodies. They would get charged with over 7 killings of rival Nortes. On March 17, 2017, 2 MS-13 members named Jose and Alexis killed a man named George who was at a bar with his son. The MS-13 members thought George's son was a Norte, and this led to them taking George's life. Seconds before they shot, they asked were they Nortes. Jose was a damn dipshit though. Bro dropped his phone at the crime scene and then threw a strap in the nearby trash. Jose's phone, it was a bunch of photos of him throwing up his set. Jose and Alexis were both ended up being charged with this crime. On February 3rd, 2018, E was at a corner store with his girlfriend. E was wearing a blue shirt. He then ran into 4 Nortes, Steve, Rob, Ruben, and Francisco. They started tripping on him and banging Norte. E and his girlfriend went to his car. E had a LA Dodger sticker on his car, and this really made them trip. E told them that he didn't want no problems and that he didn't bang. The Nortes did not care. They still tried to beat that boy ass. They threw bottles at his car, and then E drove off. But the Nortes followed. They shot up E's car, and then they drove off. The store's camera showed the whole thing on tape, but the jury deadlocked. Only 1 Norte would be charged for gun possession. 3 Nortes, Nando, G-Boy, and Cuddy went on a killing spree. On January 23rd, 2018, G-Boy and Cuddy killed 2 men they believed to be Surenos around Richland Avenue in the Mission District, in front of several pedestrians. On July 12, 2018, Nando killed a man near Candlestick Park. The victim's phone was found near a bridge and had blood on it. The victim's remains was found years later, and his phone put Nando to the crime, because Nando and the victim was finna meet up. On July 8, 2019, Nando and others killed a 15-year-old boy near BART station. In February of 2020, several MS-13 members were indicted of killings of a few Norte members, and shootings which ranged from 2017 to 2019. They even killed people who were in a gang that violated rules. April 9th, 2020, Aura Mensah was a Norte was walking on Richland Avenue, where he seen 3 Surenos in a parked car, and he started firing, but nobody was shot. He was charged with the shooting and received 5 years. This photo was used as evidence in his case. Crimes and shootings are still going down in the Mission District, but not at the same rate as it was in the past, with indictments and getting gang members off the streets. By 2025, with gentrification, it is predicted it will be 31% Hispanics and Latinos in the Mission District, which is a dramatic drop with the prices of rent and other factors. The community is being changed, but Mission will always be remembered and known for the community that helped shape it. This will conclude this episode. If you haven't already, make sure you check out my previous episodes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.